Welcome to the Budding Magnolia YouTube channel. My name's Drew, and today we're going to be working on teacher ID badges. You have a clear pocket in the back here to put your ID in, just like that. Okay. These are going to be made with our embroidery machine today, and these are completely in the hoop. There's going to be no sewing whatsoever besides what your embroidery machine is going to do. This design comes from Crashing Wave Design, so go check them out. Also, this is great for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is coming up right around the corner. So let's get started. These are the materials that we're going to need today for making our little ID badge here. First thing you're going to need, obviously, is an embroidery machine. And you're going to need a 5x7 or larger hoop, your cutaway stabilizer, which I've already got hooped here. You're going to need the fabric, main fabric, so the whites for the back here. Your applique fabric, which is the pencil part here. Backing. This can be any color, I just choose black. And you're going to need some clear vinyl for your pocket back here, so you can see your ID. You're also going to need tape, scissors, little scissors for trimming up around your applique. I'm using a 1-inch split keyring, an ID badge clip. Going to need some snaps. These are from camsnap.com, and I like to use the extra long ones. You'll also need a tool to set those. So I have a press, also from CamSnap. You will need an awl, and optional is a Cropadile, which I love this thing. But you do not need this. It is just optional, and you will see later on in the video why. And I think that is all we're going to need today. So let's get started. So I have my teacher ID holder loaded up here in my program, which I'm using Sew What Pro. So there's two ways we can do this to add the name to our tag. The first way is to come up here and File, Merge, and you're going to merge your font in one letter at a time, which, let's see, find a capital M here, and then bring it down where you need it, which, let me change this color so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. That's better. Okay. The second and easiest way is if you come up here to View and click on Album Icons. It'll bring up everything that you have opened, which my font is one of them, and then you can just click on through, see, and it adds it where you need it. See, it puts it all in a line for you. It's real nice. And when we come down to put the last name, I'm going to move that down here and click on through the name here. Then once you get everything on there, you have to kind of shift it around a little bit because it merges everything together a little bit. So you're going to have to add a few spaces in here. Just a little moving around here. Just so we can read it. There we go. And you can center everything up how you need it. And then what I like to do is I have a folder on my computer that I save everything that I'm going to be putting onto my machine, so that I have it all in one place and I'm not looking everywhere for it and getting it mixed up with my original files. So go over here to Save As, and then I'm going to choose my folder, which is Machine Embroidery, And I'm going to name this Pencil Teacher ID. And my machine is PES files, so I'm going to leave that the same and just click Save. Here. What did I do? Maybe my hoop's wrong. Oh, my hoop is wrong. I need to change it to 5x7. There we go. Try that again. Go over here to Machine Ready. So Pencil ID. That's what I'll save it as. PES and save. Then it is ready to transfer over to my flash drive, which is how I put stuff onto my machine. And it'll be ready to go now. Okay, now that we're over here at the machine, I've already got my design loaded up. And it says that I have 23 steps on mine. That is because I did add a name to mine, so that it's going to make it a little bit longer to stitch this one out, just because I added the name to it. First thing is going to be your placement stitch that we're going to stitch down here. So we'll go ahead and get that running. Okay, now this tells us where everything is going to be laying inside of our design here. So now we're going to take our main material, which is this white vinyl here, and we're going to put it down over what we just stitched. Sure it's covering everything. And the first step is going to be the lines on the paper, so we're going to go ahead and run that. Alright, that's finished stitching. I had to go through and cut all the jump stitches because this machine doesn't automatically cut the jump stitches for me. So I went ahead and did that, and this is a single needle, so I have to switch threads every time I have a different color. Just the nature of this machine. This is a Brother PE770, and y'all, I got this thing like 10 years ago, so it's hanging in there. But I got it from the Home Depot. I don't know why they were selling embroidery machines, but for some reason they were selling them. And I got this thing for like 400 bucks. So I can't complain too much about it. So, changing the color to red because our next part is going to be the line down the side of the paper here. Okay, and we're going to start that one. Okay, that step's finished. Now we're on to step 4, and it's going to be the circles on the side, and I've already switched my thread to black. So we're going to run those. Okay, those finished stitching, and I went ahead and cut all my jump stitches and switched my color. So we're on to step 5, and it's going to be the top part of the pencil. So I've got my thread in there, and we're going to go ahead and start that. Now that that's finished stitching, I've changed my color again. I've changed it to yellow this time because we're going to start the applique of the pencil. So we're going to do the placement stitch so we know where the material is going to go. We have our material that we're going to put down here, and we're going to line it up, make sure everything's covered with the lines that it just stitched, and we're going to go ahead and run the tack down stitch. Next step is we're going to take our hoop off our machine, and we're going to take our little applique scissors and we're going to cut around the stitching here, making sure not to get too close, because if we snip any of these threads, it's going to unravel the whole thing and it will be ruined and you'll have to go back and start all over again. So we're going to take this and we're going to go trim this up. Now we got that all nice and trimmed up. See if I can get you in here close to see. See, you get close but not too close. You don't want to snip those threads. The next step that we're going to do is going to be the eraser. So I have changed my thread color to pink. So we're going to go ahead and run that step to stitch out the eraser. Alright, we got the eraser stitched out now. So the next step is going to be the lead part of the pencil. And I've already switched my thread. I've just put a dark gray thread on here. So we're going to go ahead and start that stitching. Now that we got that stitched, we're going to move on to the outline of the pencil. And if you didn't add a name to yours, you are almost done with this. So we're going to go ahead and start this outline. I've already changed my thread color to black. And we're going to start stitching that. Okay, now that we went ahead and ran this border stitch, I went ahead and changed my thread color to, I changed it to blue because I'm going to be doing the name now, and I've decided that I wanted blue for the name. If you went into your software and added the name, if you forgot like I did to order your thread colors so that the name would start stitching now, you're going to have to go into your machine and skip ahead to that part. And if you have the same machine as me or something similar, I can show you how to do that on my machine. So you're going to come over here to the needle that says minus and plus here, and you're going to push that. The spools of thread, that will skip you through the different steps. The little needle, that makes it back up and go forward just like certain numbers of just the stitches. So I want to come up here and I want to do the spool because I want to change to a different step. So I'm going to click through here until I get to here, and I know this little blob right here is going to be my name. So that is a letter in the name. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus on the stitch so that it just go ahead and it moved it. See, it moved it to where it's going to start stitching. So I'm going to go ahead and start stitching the name. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. So you can, in the software, you can join all these together, so you just have one big step and it'll sit there and it'll stitch everything out for you and you don't have to start and stop. But I forgot to do that, so all my letters are individual, so it will take just a little bit for mine to stitch out. The plus to that is I do not have to go through and trim my jump stitches. But if you have a machine that trims your jump stitches for you, that's a better option for you, just to go ahead and make it one big step instead of multiple steps like I have on my machine right now. Okay, we got the name stitched on here. So the next step is going to be putting the back onto this. I've went ahead and I have changed my step back to step 11, which is going to stitch the back onto it. So at this point, you're going to need whatever color backing material that you're going to use. I'm using this black vinyl, and I went ahead and changed my thread to a black thread for the outline here. So we're going to take your hoop off your machine and you're going to flip it over so that you see everything that you've already stitched on here. And we're going to be looking at the outline here. That's what we're going to make sure that we're getting everything covered in that when we're putting this on here. So we're going to lay that down on there. You want the vinyl facing out, the backing against here. And then we're going to need our tape. And we're going to make sure that we have everything taped down, because we don't want anything sliding around and coming up and getting all rolled up under here while we're stitching. So you're going to take your tape, tape down your edges, your corners here. Tape my corners down, and then I'm going to put some on the sides. And on the bottom here, just to make sure that this is not going anywhere. Okay, after you got that all taped down, we're going to flip it back over and put it back onto our machine. And then we're going to start the stitch to get everything sealed up in here. Put your foot down and start it. Now that we got that tacked down, the next step that we're going to stitch out is going to be our placement stitches for the pocket on the back. So it's going to be 2 little lines on the side here. So we're going to go ahead and stitch that out. We're going to go ahead and cut this out of our way and take our hoop back off here, and again flip it back upside down and trim all this thread out of our way. Alright, so you can see on the back here you have a line here and a line here. You want to take your clear vinyl and you want to get as straight as you can of an edge, and you're going to line it. Oops, let me get you in the picture here. You're going to line up one side with this one and the other side with that one, and we're going to tape it down. And when you tape this clear vinyl, you want to make sure that whatever you're taping is not going to be left in your design here. So I'm going to tell you, I would not put a piece of tape right here, because it leaves behind a sticky residue and it is hard to get off. So just a fair warning on that. And that should hold it. And we're going to place it back on our machine, and we're going to run the final stitch, and it's going to stitch all the way around, so that make sure that we get this tacked down into it. So we're going to go ahead and run that. Now that the last step has finished stitching, we're going to remove our project from our embroidery machine, and we're going to take it over to the cutting table, unhoop it, and cut it out, and we'll show you how to add the snaps and everything else. Now we're going to unhoop this, and we're going to tear the stabilizer away from our project here. Get it as best you can around these stitches here. You can save the tape for later projects if you would like, or you can just trim it off when we start cutting it out here. Okay, I use these Ginger scissors. I guess I'm saying that right. I'm not sure, but they are super sharp and I absolutely love them. So we're going to start cutting, and the trick to cutting these things out is to move your project around the scissors, not your scissors around the project, if that makes sense. It'll make it go a whole lot smoother for you. Just gonna keep cutting. It's not gonna be perfect, but that's okay. It's what gives the handmade stuff its character. Okay. Got it cut out. You got your little pocket on the back there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our cam snaps to it. So I get these plastic snaps. I get these from camsnaps.com. And I get the extra long little post because I find that the shorter regular post, they snap off on me. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. I don't know, but I like the extra long ones. So what I like to do is, let me cut this little thread off here. I'm going to fold it in half here, and I use my awl to find where I think the center is, and I poke it through all the way to the other side. And you can use just your awl to install these, but I like to use my Crop-A-Dile, and I use my smaller side. There's a big side, and then there's a small side. I like to use the small side to punch my hole. I just line it up in there. I don't know if you can see, get it centered in there. Punch a hole, and I do it again over here. Let me get that out of there so we can see what we're doing. Come on, get out. There we go. And then again, line it up in there, find the center, and punch. I just find this way so much easier than trying to stick it through the hole that you've made with the awl. I like to put my male one, so that's the one that has the little whoop, little bump here. So flat side goes on the outside, and then I put my male one on the top. And I use my little cam snap press here. I have a big one, but I prefer to use the handheld one. And we're going to give it a little press. Not too hard or it will snap on you. I like to give it a little spin and another little press. See, get it nice and mushed up in there. The next one, the flat side, again on the outside there. And this is the female. See how it's sunk in? And again, going to press with our cam snap press. Give it a little press, not too hard. Come over here, give it another press, and they are set. It snaps, and it doesn't. I give it a few snaps and unsnaps just to make sure it's not going to pop off there. And I like to use a round 1-inch keyring. And then I attach these ID badge snaps to it. You don't have to. You can use whatever you would like. I just find it easier to put these on like this. And now you're all set. You can put your ID in there. It's great for teachers. There's other designs for other job titles here, but we're doing one for a teacher day. This makes a great teacher appreciation gift, or just a thank you for any time during the year. So these were pretty fast and pretty easy to make, and they're so cute. Now that we've finished, you have a beautiful ID holder ready to give to your favorite teacher. Thank y'all so much for watching today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I hope y'all have a great week. See you next time. Bye, y'all.